Why is it so difficult to stand up for ourselves in front of our parents? So sometimes we may encounter difficulties with our parents where they may, for example, let's say they want us to contribute money to the household and we have already given a lot and yet they still are asking for more, and let's say we want to stand up for ourselves to say no, no more, and then they turn around to guilt trip us to say how disrespectful we are, etc., etc. So why is it so difficult to stand up to our parents sometimes? Because like we're adults, we should be able to speak up to them and tell them what we want. Now, the main reason is because when we were growing up, between a child and parent relationship, as a child, we had known our parents since very young. So we know like exactly how they're going to react to us if, let's say, we want to stand up to them, like, or rebel against them. They may give us a look. They may start yelling at us. They may guilt trip us to say you're so disrespectful. I have sacrificed so much for you, or they may even say, fine, then you're not part of the family anymore, right? So all of these things we kind of know in the back of our heads, and we never liked um, confronting them. We never liked these emotions, so we want to avoid these emotions. And when we decide to speak up for ourselves and confront them some more, all these emotional tactics, manipulation tactics, will increase in intensity and will increase in frequency. And depending on how fierce they are, it can be very difficult to handle. For someone to constantly yell at you, be in your ears, cry, and tell you, "Oh, poor me! Look at my where did I go wrong? My child is no longer loving toward me," and all of these things is put a lot of pressure and guilt and frustration on us that we are too tired to. We may get too tired to handle, and we don't want to handle it, and then that's when we bend us enough that we break, and then we say, okay, fine, I'll do this for you one more time, and then that's the kind of um, sequence that we're going through, right? Like we stand up, we cannot handle it, so we break, and then we cater to them, and then we do it all over again, so that they now see that, hey, if I just increase the force, the intensity, they're going to do whatever that I ask. So how do we go about doing this? One of the things that I work closely with my clients is to help them change that unconscious mind to be strong enough to handle these emotions. And I work with them to say, I work with them, go into the body, go into the subconscious mind to heal some of those parts, because a lot of times when we first encountered these emotions, we were too young. We were too young to know how to handle it. So we have resorted back to a state where, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm so sorry, mommy. Like, all of those freezing, fawning tactics that we kind of or the techniques that we had resorted back to, we kind of keep using them to protect us, but they don't work anymore. So I have to go back to work with them in the subconscious mind, so that they become stronger in the voice to say, hey, I'm older now, I'm more mature now, I have tools and I have solutions. So I help them with the subconscious mind. It will take maybe a few sessions to do that, sometimes even one or two. And then once they become confident in themselves to say, hey, I now understand my mom will not change, so now what can I do? After instilling that confidence within them, then I'll be like, okay, let's set up our um, our responses. How we're going to respond when my parents do this. How am I going to react when my parents do that? So this is the 1-2 punch that we go back into standing up for us. it can be a little bit of a roller coaster, and it can be done. Um, and I want you to know that it may take a little bit of time, and once you have the tools and the techniques, you will be able to handle your own emotion. You don't let them control your emotion anymore. You can take your control back to controlling emotions, um, regulate your own emotions, and then think logically as to how you're going to respond back to them. And I think that's so important, because a lot of times we think that the other person is controlling me, but it just feels like they're controlling you because you don't want to go through whatever that may come up next. But once you're able to deal with your emotions and deal with their emotion, then you have more power within yourself to take in your hands what your decision is. And so whenever you're ready to work on this with me, book a time and we'll have a chat and see if we're a good match to work together. I always want you to be safe. I want you to have the power to control back into your life, to know that you have a choice. Other people don't have to control your life. You do have a choice. Okay? That's all I have for today. Until next time.